let's do some drills. Hey, what's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today I'm going to be preparing to watch the sequel when it comes out by first talking about that classic family sports film from 1996, it's Space Jam. Space Jam follows the career of Michael Jordan after he decides to retire from basketball. That is, until the Looney Tunes kidnap him and take him to the cartoon world in order to be their star player of an ultimate basketball game against the Monstars, a number of monstrous aliens that, if they win the game, they get to enslave the Looney Tunes on their home planet of Moron Mountain. But is Michael Jordan's masterclass resume in basketball good enough to win against these aliens? Only time can tell. This film, of course, is a classic on all fronts. If you were a 90s kid, you knew this movie. Not only that, but I was never really a fan of sports, let alone basketball, but this movie made me care about that game, and especially believe in Michael Jordan. I still to this day believe there's never been anybody like him in the world of basketball, both from a stats perspective and charismatic. Sports players don't often act in movies because they don't really know how to in a way that doesn't look stupid, even more so than pro wrestlers. But Michael Jordan, because of his charisma, I believed him in this film. I believed him when I was a kid, and I still believe his performance now. And he's one of the sole reasons as to why this film is so special. Back then, Space Jam wasn't exactly the only film to have mixed live action with cartoon world. Roger Rabbit also did the same thing. But in a way, it definitely revitalized that kind of an idea because it did it in a very effective way, and it was also the most grounded I've ever seen from the Looney Tunes. I mean, the stuff regarding the real world and Michael Jordan's family, that was all pretty down to earth and real in a way. And when those cartoon characters enter our world, the way that they're shaded was pretty cool, especially in the mid-90s. I know when they have this sequel, it'll be more CGI than anything, but honestly, there's something to be said about the shading here. Up until that point, all we've really ever seen from the Looney Tunes is very vibrant, strictly two-dimensional looking cartoon characters, and that shading alone really helped them look like they actually belonged whenever they showed up on Earth. Let's talk about the Monstars really quick. I actually really like them as characters, who of course are silly, but they also have the unique ability to borrow the talent of other basketball players. So if Michael Jordan wasn't already a big enough face for the film, there's also plenty of sports talent like Charles Barkley, Larry Bird, and the like. This movie was really, really big for the Chicago Bulls in the mid-90s. It was just one giant advertisement after the next for that team. It's beyond ridiculous. But that's also a major complaint though, right? It's a product of its time. Look, in today's world, if a kid wants to watch this first film, they simply will not get as much out of it as I did as a kid. They might enjoy the Looney Tunes stuff, but they unfortunately will not really know who Michael Jordan is. Outside of the name they might have heard in passing. They definitely wouldn't have ever heard of these other basketball players in the film. And so yeah, it's a product of its time that for me, it's nostalgic. But for others, it just won't strike that same chord. It can't. This movie is also paced really well. It gets to the idea pretty quickly. They get to the inciting incident, throw in some obstacles here and there. There's a climax and falling action. So the narrative is standard stuff, but solid nonetheless. Now, the one thing that I noticed with this film is that in general, but especially in the mid-90s, kids' movies usually had a strong moral to the story. And now that I think about it, so did sports films, which were almost always this big inspirational thing. And I don't think there was too much real depth in this film. It was plainly, a fun time. That's not really a bad thing, but it has left me a little bit curious as to why that was the case. Whatever. Let's go ahead and break down my final score. From an unbiased technical viewpoint, this film is more than just decent. The visuals of the cartoon stuff, to me, is great. Even though some of the CGI in their world looks to be a bit fake, that doesn't really bother me that much because I always saw it as a cartoony world that's supposed to look fake. There's supposed to be a contrast between seeing, live action Michael Jordan against a cartoony backdrop. And that's what you get. A lot of the music choices are pretty decent, the narrative is strong, and obviously the film has a great assortment of characters. This score is 84%. My bias score is a little bit higher, at least for me, because it's all about nostalgia. Kids these days probably will not appreciate the film as much as I do now, and that's fine. And that's also why my bias score is mine. I don't apologize for enjoying this film, and honestly, I don't see that much wrong with it whatsoever. This score is 94%, and when we average out the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 89%. 89 out of 100 possible stars, or an A- letter grade. If you're wondering on how I rank this against the Looney Tunes Back in Action film, I have it scored 5% higher. Now, I love Back in Action, but this is a little bit more grounded all around. Guys, what are your thoughts on Space Jam? Let me know in the comments section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with the next review. And until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick.